Hey y'all, it's been a little bit, hasn't it? I started this series out in late 2022 because honestly it was the kind of stuff I wanted to watch when I was looking at Final Fantasy XIV stuff on YouTube. And since I've began with that, Cider Spiders released a series that fits really nicely into that same spot with like a more polish to it and just their talent for being able to tell those kind of stories in the framework of, you know, trying to do everything in a game. And there's also other channels like Wrath Games that have these really creative account challenges that are super reminiscent of the RuneScape videos that inspired me to start out. And to avoid being long-winded, because this is probably going to be an extremely long video, but I have clips for this dating back to April 2023. In that time I've burnt out from the game, you know, unburnt out from the game, done lots of cool things, and had some really important realizations outside of the game that are shaping my life in new, exciting, and scary ways. And I keep looking at the growing pile of footage that I have, wondering if it's kind of worth the effort to share it with everyone when there's a lot out there doing what I'm doing, but better. But I think in the end, I've enjoyed the journey, and hopefully all of you will too. And as you saw in the intro, we have a very, very exciting destination to work towards, so definitely stick around for that. We're gonna do things a bit differently because, yeah, there was over 1,000 clips to sort through to make this video. So we're gonna go through things category by category, jumping around the timeline like that one Flash movie where he puts a baby in a microwave. Anyways, we finished our long-standing goal of getting the final gold saucer mount, the Adamantoise. It spins way, way too much and it makes you dizzy if you look at it, which is kind of not great, but it's one of the better looking MGP mounts, honestly, despite being the cheapest one. We were also able to unlock every single MGP minion literally a day later, because altogether, cumulatively, the minions are worth the same amount as that turtle we just bought. So it's kind of weird, but there's that big difference between like minions and mount collecting. In terms of limited time mounts, I didn't end up recording all of them. I got the FF15 and 16 mounts when those events ran, but I didn't record it because I was just like not recording a lot of stuff at that time. But we did get the 10-year anniversary Phoenix mounts, which is very cool looking. I love that it has its own little animation. And I also won a Twitter giveaway that the FF14 Twitter runs every once in a while for the Black Fat Chocobo, which is the base mount for that they recolor for this. I really liked, so it was nice to get that. But yeah, none of these count for the series for like the total mount count, but it's just nice to kind of get these and have a cool collection of mounts. It's the last sort of not limited time mount, but kind of limited time mount because it's intermittently available, but it's intermittently available fairly frequently, is the Fall Guys mount. Yeah, they did a Fall Guys promotional thing because why not? It's essentially playing Fall Guys in FF14, so you're just playing Fall Guys with depressing Final Fantasy XIV snapshots. I won 0 times, but thankfully you do not need to win at all to get the inflatable rhino thingy that you get from it that I don't. I played Fall Guys when it came out. I didn't recognize this at all. It's very jarring whenever it pops up in my Mount Roulette. Ah yes, PvP. The final boss probably standing between me and ever getting every mount in the game. If you've watched the series before, you know that I hate it. Stresses me out, and I have been extremely avoidant with it for essentially the first year of me doing this account. I've not tried to even get anything besides the easiest to get mount. But I did tackle one PvP mode during my over a year-long hiatus, which was Rival Wings. Possibly it's my favorite of the game modes Final Fantasy XIV has. It's essentially a MOBA where you collect resources, pilot mechs, do different objectives, and you push lanes in and eventually destroy the enemy's core. It's still miserable to go on loss streaks, but it's the only PvP thing I've ever been really motivated to do, honestly. It's a shame that it's only active if you join like the PvP Revival Discord or during Mogtome events, but you know, you can't win them all.
I wonder if this hits me. We're not gonna talk about. Oh no! Oh no! I got hit by the train. I got hit by a train. I don't hear anything. I'm in the train somehow. I don't know how that happened. Classic tank things. Oh, this machine is dead. I just did a drop shot. I don't know what's going on over here, but there's just a bunch of people hanging out next to the dueling grounds over here. We win? We win? We win? We won somehow! I don't know how!
So over the course of 2 weeks, I essentially only did top rating and Rival Wings, which was probably a questionable choice, but it got the job done. Every day I was aiming for as many wins as I could, and just as I was starting to hit that wonderful point where you just have that overwhelming dread for grinding something, it was finally over. And here's the fun surprise I didn't mention at the beginning. Rival Wings has a 100 win achievement and 100 wins on a specific map achievement. And because only one map's in rotation right now, you pretty much get both of them as a bundle deal. And both are pretty awesome, but they also remind me of getting hit by trains and getting steamrolled by Dark Knights every time I see them, so that kind of takes away the luster from them a little bit. Eureka and I don't really have the best history together. I got really, really unlucky with the Bunny Fate mounts, and I honestly never really recovered. But there's always one last mount, one thing stopping me from fully completing Eureka, waiting for me, taunting me in the distance at the end of a series of impossible challenges known as the Bozja Arsenal. Except that Bozja Arsenal is one of the easier challenges these days, and one of the easier mounts I got. Completely thanks to like community groups that run these semi-regular newbie runs that are extremely welcoming, and they're going to explain all the mechanics, and they guide you through every single step of the way. I did my clear through a Discord group called Eureka Academy because I'm on EU, but I'm pretty sure every single region data center has their own one, as far as I'm aware. The only scary part really of doing any of this is the Ozma fight at the very end, because they can kick you out of the entire instance. Like, you just are not able to get them out until another run at the very, very end. But again, with how comfy they call everything, you just have to listen and not get anxious. And really, they have such like geared up people in the group helping you out that you don't even need to worry about DPS. Ooh. Like nothing, the mechanics weren't hard, but it's just like stressful knowing you can just fall off. Thank goodness. I don't have to do a second one. My goodness, it's so worth doing because Demi-Ozma is such a cool mount. Because it changes forms when you fly or you go underwater, and it's at the top of the list for me, or near the top of the list rather, for like favorite mounts. And it was very worth waking up at 5 a.m. to do all the prep and do the BA run itself. Luxury mounts are, for all intents and purposes, not the most exciting part of trying to get every mount in the game, but it's necessary, so... I mean, unless you're really in tune with the market board or really enjoy grinding cash, it's kind of just a passive goal. But it does help that, you know, stuff we've already done, like the Pteranodon, grinding that in the Firmament, doing the Eureka Bunny Fates, doing hunts for the materia that you get from that, and making pots for raid and selling off extras. All that helps you get there, so it's not really something worth paying attention to on its own. I made the decision from the start that I would buy both luxury mounts at the same time at the wonderfully low cost of 75 million gil, just for Square to go and release 2 more 50 million gil mounts before I was finished. So overnight, the goal doubled, or over doubled really, making this even more of a passive goal and something that I was keeping track of along the way but never really focusing on. Once we got all the money and the pain of seeing so much of it disappear in an instant went away, it actually is kind of cool seeing all of these mounts. They're definitely big flex mounts that you notice flying around, so it's cool actually having them myself. They should all look pretty familiar because I do own the base version, all 4 of these mounts already, including the Rival Wings mounts, though I don't know if that's the original, where that model comes from. Anyways. But the little details, kind of like the gold aura or the trails they have behind them, or the RGB visor for the robot, or the super duper bright like Namazu, honestly makes it really cool. Even though it, for reference, as the day of recording this, I still only have 28 million gil, and I have not recovered anywhere close to the amount that I had spending all this. So if they release more of these mounts, I will scream. Oh yeah, a raid tier released while I was away. This was my first ever raid tier where I was starting at the same point as the rest of my static, which felt nice to learn a fight with them instead of feeling like I was behind on it and progressing together, and even main calling one of the fights was pretty cool. The first phase of P12S is one of my favorite songs in the game by far, and honestly, overall, with a little bit of variance between it, I enjoyed all the fights that tier. Like, they're all very different feeling things. I really enjoyed 9 and Part 1 for P12S. Both those I thought were a lot of fun, but none of them I really hated, except for some of the snapshotting shenanigans for P10, which probably wasn't helped by me being on EU, honestly. In the future, I think I'll probably be focusing on more chill rating progression and not so much ultimates, so looking forward to more challenges like this and keeping on top of trying to get these raid mounts.
Be vertical, go, and then it's vertical. Get ready for pairs.
Light spread.
For your partner.
Don't be in the center.
I got nothing on this. Oh. Okay, is he?
Oh, I'm just checking.
No, I got you.
No.
AoE. No, me. We've got cooldowns. I can't res.
We got this.
DPS.
Just got it.
DPS. Good kill.
The enraged timers. The enraged
Oh,
timers.
B, well
go.
done! Let's go! Wow. I didn't think we'd clear today. That's
That
lovely.
DPS check is
Yeah.
non-existent.
We didn't even see the enraged curse. Oh my god.
And speaking of mounts, it did come with a controversial mount, which I never really got the controversy with it, but I can say just look how derpy it is and adorable the axolotl is. It doesn't really fit the traditional raid mount mold, but I love it dearly, and I'm happy that I got it. And with the axolotl mount, I am entering Dawn Trail with every single raid mount, which is a nice little accomplishment and something I'm hoping to continue into Dawn Trail. Alright, not gonna spend too much time on maps, mostly because I've talked about it a whole bunch and how much I enjoy it. And really I don't tend to record it too much, just because I usually do it with friends, and it's more of like a relaxed sort of thing, so I don't record a ton of clips unless I have to. I don't know the name of this mount. I keep calling it Fire Ixion because it's the Ixion model, but fiery, so. But I really enjoy how it looks. I mean, I like Ixion, so it's kind of natural progression. There's actually been 3 map mounts this expansion, I believe, which is wild because I don't think there's been ones previously. I don't know what made them start releasing so many. But this is definitely my second favorite of the bunch. Sorry to the weird bird thing that you get from maps. And I hope everyone will forgive me, because for my birthday, which, now that I think about it, like it's literally a month away. That's how long it's taken me to make this. But I broke my rule about not buying or having mounts gifted to me, because Helly and Joy were kind enough to each get me one of the tonics for the Pinky mount for my birthday, and I already had one, so that meant I had everything that I needed to turn in for the mount. And honestly, it's one of my favorite mounts. It's it looks like an elephant, but apparently it's a machine made by Loporitz, which is interesting, but it's super adorable and wonderful, and it reminds me of a game that I speedran before. The main character of that, Yano. So it kind of like a special place with that, just because it's a fun little reminder of that game, and just super cute. I'd love this. This is like definitely near the top of the list for me for mounts. With the ferment grind done, tank mounts are now the prime mount farming content for chucking on an hour-long YouTube video on the other monitor and vaguely paying attention. It's probably not great design that an achievement to tempt players into playing tank and content is fastest done by spamming the same 20-second instant over and over again, but I'm not gonna really complain. All we had left was 300 duties for Dark Knights, and then both 200 and 300 for Paladin. So the Dark Knight one didn't take very long, already a Dark Knight at 90, so got the Battle Panther pretty quickly. It's a little funky looking, but all the armored tank mounts kind of do. Honestly, it probably fits the armor better than the rest of them do, looking at it. There's an ominous 5-month gap between getting the Battle Panther and actually progressing doing the Paladin mount farm. That's honestly probably how long it took me actually to level Paladin all the way to 90, because I was being very lazy with it, so. But we got a few lucky parties, and it didn't take too long to knock out both lions in a single session, which is something I would not recommend doing, because that is very mind-numbing no matter how many YouTube videos you have to watch. As usual, the base lion looks pretty fine. You know, it's just very basic, but very lion-y, I guess. I don't know. It's a lion. The armored version, I don't know, like, I feel like my opinion keeps changing on it. Like, I listened to the clip of me getting it, and I hated it at the time, but looking at it now, I think it's fine. I think it's kind of neat. You know, this is whatever you feel about it. But either way, until they release another tank in like 3 or 4 years, I'm never going to need to join another tank mount farm. Oh, I am being informed by the fake person in my ear that apparently there are titles for completing 700 duties as each tank, so yeah, I'll have to do that at some point, I guess. Oh well. gonna be a lot in this section, because goodness do I have a love-hate relationship with trials. I mean, if you get 7 other folks that you know together to do it, or luck out on a PF of people that can press buttons and have a functioning monitor, you'll have a wonderful time, spam through kills, get a bunch of totems, and you know, you might even see a mount that you rolled abysmally low on. But usually doesn't go that way. There's a lot of one and done clears, a lot of just memeing to stuff on a farm party for an hour, or people dying at 1%, or just failing to the variety of body check mechanics that Endwalker has. EX4, at the time of me clearing it, was actually the last trial I needed to have cleared every single trial in Extreme Fight. It's a bit of a shame, because by the time I got around to it, it was a bit easy, especially with gear, to get away with a lot of like shenanigans and still clear. But I mean, it was nice to have that break from fights with strict body checks. And honestly, you know, the best part obviously, with an extremely lucky roll in Party Finder Group, I actually yoinked them out before I even got anywhere close to 99 totems.
Is it? There's no way. It's impossible. There's no way someone rolled a 98 or a 99. It's mine. 1,000%. Let's go! It's so easy. Just roll a 97.
I'll just throw out my usual complaint here about the base model for the Lynx, just once and once only. They're kind of weird looking. They got the squish faces. I like them the least out of all the like trial mount archetypes from each expansion, but honestly, like, this one fits the fight. It's one like from pretty well. Like the texture of the model looks pretty cool, and the effect doesn't like hide the entire mount, which is a problem sometimes. So it's cool. It's fine. It works despite the underlying thing. Oh boy, EX5. It's just been. It's the trial I've done the most in Endwalker by far, by like 50 clears at least. I enjoyed the fight and just kept doing it and just kept thinking, eventually I'll get them out. It'll be worth it. And it'll be cool, it'll be a nice story. But through all the memes, the 1% wipes, the failing the tether passing mechanic, the failing whatever the fidget spinner mechanic is, I don't even remember what it is anymore. You know, unfortunately, with all that extra effort rather, I still had to wait for the game to update and let you turn in totems for the mount. Sadly enough. But I will forever have the flex of buying the mount twice by stashing one in my Chocobo saddlebag. So I will permanently have a second copy of the mount just sitting there forever. Just to remind myself that I spent probably tens of extra hours on that I didn't need to do, that I could have just waited for, and remind me that that fight is definitely a fight. But I mean, the mount kind of looks sick though, doesn't it? Like, the weapons the fight drops are like 90% of them are not good. They're just very unexciting, if not bad. But the mount itself, like that purpley fire effect that it has on it is like, and that burnt look that it has, like, fits the fight so well. I really wish I had gotten it as a drop after all the time spent in PF, but I'm just happy to have it out of the way at this point. EX6 ended up being farmed a decent bit purely because it had the best weapons for the first week of the new raid tier. Actually, in that time, we saw the mount drop twice. I rolled like pretty average, I think, on it both times, but like never high enough to actually get it. But after that, I actually saw it drop a lot. Once when we had a pre-made stack of 6 people and 2 randoms, and this happened. Mount. The mount. I mean, it's a cool number. It's an iconic number. Surely you'll know. Of course, it's one of the 2 random people. I knew it. I knew it'd be one of the random people. I knew it would be. I knew it. I knew as soon as it dropped. I knew it wouldn't be 6 of the 8 people that we know. I knew it. Yeah. I dropped 2 more times in another party finder after that, but I never end up rolling high enough to get it. thankfully over all that time I got at least 99 totems for the mount, and I got reminded like 5 or 6 months later, after I was pretty much raid logging just for top, that I could turn them in and get them out, and I'd just been sitting on it for months, so that was a fun little surprise. It's pretty okay. Not my favorite one. The particle effect's cool, but it's just like not super exciting. Generally, I feel like my luck with these trials, the first few trials, I feel like I got them out super quickly. I got really lucky on rolling for it, and then the last few trials of the expansion, just like complete opposite direction. I would see them out a decent bit and not roll high enough for it, or I wouldn't even see the mounts at all. Now, EX7. I didn't really do this one very much, honestly. It is technically obtainable with totems right now, but I've been focusing on ultimate rating and making this video, and honestly, I am perfectly content at this point to make an early Dawn Trail goal to knock it out and give it some committed. That's the last one I needed. Let's go. I'm actually sorry. You'll never guess. The fact that while I'm editing this video for like everything that's happened up until Dawn Trail, that got the final extreme mount that I was missing is super cool. I got very lucky on it. I rolled like a 61 and I still got the mount, which is probably the lowest I've rolled on a mount that I've gotten this entire expansion. But it was the last one I needed for just the expansion in general and all the trial mounts. I wasn't gonna be too sad if I left endwalker without all the trial mounts, but I'm definitely happy that ended up being able to close that out. Oh, it plays the music that plays when you log in, which it'll be different in Dawn Trail, so it's kind of cool that it plays. That'll be a nice little reminder of spamming hunts and relogging in literally thousands of times, or getting DDoSed right now, which has unfortunately been happening. But yeah, I like that this is not a Lynx mount. I know some people didn't like that it was like Lynx but cooler, but I mean the Lynx didn't look great, so I really like this. I think this is a super cool looking mount. I like it a lot. It does mean that we have the 10 rarest mounts currently in the game. This was the last one I needed. Alright, the last 2 Unreal Trials that released were pretty fun. I only really did them with my static and only ventured into PF a few times, which usually was a mistake. It's definitely a bit of a war zone out there sometimes, so I didn't make a big habit of it. Zervin's a pretty slow fight until you get to tethers, so it's pretty consistent, which is an important thing when you're doing this 2 times a week every week. Thornton definitely had more to remember with, but I liked it a lot. It was my favorite Unreal trial so far. I know these are just the same trial from before, just balanced for current abilities, but it's still fun. I had a great time with it, and it was nice to sort of experience it as if it was a current trial. But with Zervin, the children's bed mount was added as a reward, and with Thornton, a Saboteur mount was added. So each of those added about a month to the grind, luck permitting, which there is starting to be that sort of like time gate issue with as more and more mounts and minions get added to this, the time it takes someone to just started the game to get all these, like more and more and more, there's a bigger backlog of things to do, but that's probably a discussion for a different time. But anyways, let's get into the mounts themselves. The first one, the troll mounts, which is kind of a favorite of S rank hunters for doing the hunt grind because one of the endwalker S ranks is just a big troll, so people like waddling around near it and showing it off while waiting for it to get pulled. It's a silly, goofy-looking dude. I like it. It's a fun one. It's not super flashy, but it's cool. I like it. We have the Calidontus mount, which is the very first thing I thought of was to like make a boring pun about it, but it's not. I mean, I don't know. Like compared to the tank mounts, just random animal mount things that you could have, it's better than those ones in my opinion. So, you know, it's not like a super duper flashy mount like most of these aren't, but it's really cool looking. Well, not really cool looking. It's better than the tank mounts in terms of random animal mounts. That's all I could really say about it, I guess. But I like it. I like it. I don't know why. We have the children's bed, which is a much cuter version of the crafted magic, like the magic bed that we made, like in one of the first episodes. It might have been the first episode, honestly, that I did of this. That was like so long ago. But it looks a lot better than it using that same base model. It's a nice addition to the running list of Unreal mounts. We have the Lantern mount, which is kind of a bright glow sticky sort of version of the Heavensward trial mount. My favorite part of this is probably the fact that if you look at the description of it, the background story of this is that it's been pampered all day by listening to Chloe's wondrous tales, which sounds more like torture than like being pampered, but you know, go off, I guess. And then we have the Sabatender, which apparently this also has the same backstory as the Lantern mount, where it just listens to Chloe all day. So, you know, it's been through a lot, but I really love that we have a Sabatender mount in the game and that it's the Lunatender version because I like that one even more. So, really cool. I like the new additions that they had to it. The last two mounts they added are really cool. And with that, also, I don't have to worry about these until Dawn Trail, and I've stashed enough faux leaves that I can buy the next mount they release without even doing Unreals, so I can immediately get it, and I'll still be doing Unreals, because you know they're going to keep releasing mounts if this expansion is anything to see with it. So I'm still going to do them and enjoy them and show off kind of each of them, but I'm excited to see what they choose for the future trials for it, and to continue to roll my luck with the faux minigame and get screwed repeatedly. Doesn't really look like Dawn Trail is going to have any major updates for Island Sanctuary, so this could be the last mounts we ever collect from it for this series. And I remember it being like the first thing we did in the series ever was showing a shot of Island Sanctuary and talking about it. So it does kind of have a spot in my heart for that, and I like it, you know, despite all the stuff I'm about to complain about. So let's give it one last little visit and see what they released during Endwalker for it. We had two major updates, just like with the alligator mount we had. With those two major updates, there was their own kind of rank cap reward. So the cap was 16 and 20, so each time you hit the new cap, you got kind of like a milestone mount for that. But yeah, other than that, the first update added 3 more onion mounts available right from the start without any requirement. So those were super easy to buy and really nice, just like 3 free mounts instantly upon loading into a new patch, which is kind of funny. And each of them are pretty wonderful, and they have this kind of like underlying backstory of the like king onion washing up on the island and fighting the birds to establish their monarchy, which is some powerful Final Fantasy XIV lore, and a little silly, but you know, stuff like that's just so much fun. I've been like reading the mount descriptions more as I like earn stuff, and just some of the fun they have, whether it's the localization team or just in general, is pretty fun. To get the buffalo, which is what you get for hitting rank 16, I employed perhaps the most boring method of experience farming known to man, which is standing on top of this mountain, hitting rocks for essentially 10 hours and waiting for your time-gated stuff to give you actual proper levels, which never would recommend doing that. There is an achievement for collecting from 30,000 nodes, I believe, which is obscene, I can't even begin to explain. I mean, I think I didn't even get halfway done with that achievement after maxing out my island, even though I used this like XP grinding, which just spams nodes. So I don't know how they expected people for something they were saying is casual content to whatever. No more Island Sanctuary complaining, whatever. We were able to get the mount, the buffalo mount, from hitting rank 16 eventually after some ill-advised time management. But remember what I said about random animal mounts? This one definitely does not feel like something earned from spending countless hours hitting nodes on the top of a mountain. But to be fair, that's probably not the way they intended for you to interact with this content and how to get XP. So, you know, but it doesn't have that feeling of like a capstone mount to reward you for making, you know, hitting what was at the time the cap for your rank for the island. On to the 6.5 update. With it, we got caves, and perhaps the most diabolical grind constructed by human hands. So there's the usual leveling grind, you know, 4 more ranks this time, so even more time donated to the mountain. With it though, we get this cool motorcycle tiller thingy. It's the motorcycle from the rank 10, but jazzed up a little bit, and it holds 2 people, which is pretty cool. Fun for the whole family, assuming you have a small family. But no, the terrible grind comes with the mandragoras. They heard, you know, how I was just sassing about, you know, they're too easy, they give you free gimme mounts. So they did the most fiendish thing a developer can do: loot boxes. Time-gated loot boxes. One of the mounts, so there's 2 of them, one of the mounts drops completely from loot boxes, no other way to get it unless you buy it from the market board, which we don't do here. The other, a choice between over 6 months of stashing time-gated vouchers to buy it, or an extremely low chance of getting it from that same loot box you can get the other one from. This is like chill content, by the way. So obviously, I got the rarer one from the loot box, less than a month after the update released. That's probably worth a lot of money. Any of the furniture is worth a lot. Oh, I got one! Which one's this? Which one's this? Scroll, where is it? Where is it on the list? Oh, this is the 200 vouchers one, so I don't have to save up for 200 vouchers anymore. I can just get lucky on the other one and then I'm done. Let's go! So the one that you have to use the vouchers on, I got that one extremely quickly. And they look sick. These mandragoras look so cool compared to like the first 6 look neat. These 2 they gave you that are super rare, they both look amazing. I love the like effects they have and just how they look. It's wonderful. The other mandragora, you know, it took me, you know, it took a little bit more extra effort. It took a couple weeks after getting that first one to get the other one from the loot box before. Or I've gotten 1 firecracker before another day. I got 2 this week. We got the thing! Dude, it's so easy. This game is so easy. You just get the mounts you want. It's so easy. I don't know why people don't just get the mounts. It's fine. It's really cool. Oh, I didn't even notice the little fork in the back. That's kind of cute. I like this one. I mean, I like how all of them run around, but I like the kind of like plushy, stitched together, zombie Frankenstein sort of look for it. That's really cool looking. So in total, it took less than 2 months for me to get both of them. Got extremely lucky on it. Never had to interact with Island Sanctuary ever again after that point. So I want you to remind me at all, if I complain about RNG and Dawn Trail, just like link to this clip and just remind me that I like saved months of time just by getting lucky on rolling both of these. So yeah, there's Island Sanctuary, completely cleared out, everything done with it. And it might be the last map they release, maybe they release more, who knows? So unlike Eureka, Bozja's not gotten a ton of attention on the series yet, even though it's pretty dense when it comes to like completionist stuff for it. And especially including mounts, it's like really dispersed as well. You got like a loot box mount, you've got multiple random instance drop mounts, You've got one that's similar to Bozja Arsenal, where you have to complete a challenging instance. And my favorite one, which is collecting 50 different note drops from all these different scattered fates and instances, including many that are very luck-based, which makes it a fairly large grind, even if you're already doing a lot of stuff in Bozja. I believe I started that one with 27, 30-ish notes. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But in line with how the rest of things were going and the stuff we just talked about with Island Sanctuary, we're actually able to get a lucky roll on the loot box mount and grab it without really any significant grind with it. I know I opened a lot of these before the series even started, but it didn't take very many once I started recording, so I got the YouTuber luck on it, I guess. But the Gabriel A has really cool like transform animation whenever you hop onto it and get into the air, but it's a little bit overshadowed by the fact that Bozja also has this, but gold that you get from Delubrum Reginae as an RNG drop. So it's just, you know, there's just a cooler version of it out there that we're yet to get. But that might take a while, because from what I've heard, it's extremely rare, and some people have gotten the achievement for 50 DRN runs without seeing them out as a drop. So we might be in for a while. A lot of runs, but we'll have to do a lot of runs for the relic steps anyway, so I'm not in a rush to do that. I'd say most of my active time spent in Bozja besides that was collecting notes, since it's got like the most variety with it, and a good chunk of them can at least be spawned solo. So over time, mainly through random fates, I was able to get actually to 47 out of 50 notes, but despite all our attempts at Dalriada, the final instance area in Delubrum Reginae, the only instance raid that you can join from outside of Bozja, neither dropped either their mounts or their notes, so that's going to be something to revisit, unfortunately, because this probably, you know, definitely second to PvP is the biggest chunk of content I have left to grind, but it should be the easier of the two to complete, honestly. So I'm hoping at some point to just do an episode devoted to just jumping in there, trying to get all the notes, trying to maybe get the DRN mount or the Dalriada one, and maybe do that early Dawn Trail once I'm getting my myself situated over in NA. So we'll see. Variant dungeons, PvE rewards notwithstanding, are honestly one of the best new additions to this expansion. It's just really cool, the idea of just branching dungeon paths and having that replayability with them, and really mainly just having like criterion dungeons where you have challenging 4-person content. It's just a lot easier to organize 4 people around. It's a nice, you're able to do different things with it than you are able to do with 8 people. But 2 different variant dungeons released since early last year, Mount Rockin and Aloe Aloe Island. I spent a lot of time with the first one, mostly because I definitely started burning out more from the game when Aloe Aloe released. But as usual, whenever a new variant / criterion dungeon first releases, the rush is to discover and do all 12 possible paths with it, because there's an amount attached to it. And it's just kind of fun exploring around and like theory crafting. How do you get to the secret path for it, and how, like, where are the branches at really with it? But I've always eventually hit a point where I have no clue where I'm missing or what the secret path is, and have to get a hint. But it's generally pretty fun to see how far you can go and what you can theory craft with friends. So eventually we did all 12 paths and got this paper lantern looking mount, which is pretty unique and fits the dungeon pretty well. It's the only mount that I could find that has the goofiness of not riding it, but being inside of its mouth, which is kind of the stuff I love with making mounts, where you make them distinct from each other. Not like specifically the eating you part of it, but just the unique way of interacting with them. I think that's fun, and there's a lot of just silly things you can do with that. Different creative ways you can spin that and have some really unique looking mounts. Honestly, I enjoyed Rockin' a lot more than the first Criterion, and unlike the first one, I had to actually complete it more than once for the mount. Novel concept. The third boss and its spinning mechanic like larboard and starboard from Omega, but dialed up a million times, and it hurts my brain to think about it even now, and I'm not sure I even like properly understand it. But I definitely did not forget to record a clip of this mount at the time for some reason. But also, this is the only mount that I forgot to in like 13 months, so please don't bully me. I, surprisingly did an alright job. I think it's only one of the 3 bosses that really makes sense as a mount, unless you want to ride around in a giant rodent, which would be silly, obviously. Anyways, Aloe Aloe, I more or less blitzed through when it came to the variant portion. I spent a lot less time exploring it, started peeking at a guide a lot sooner, but aesthetically, something I really like about the variant and criterion dungeons is just each of them between each other are completely different, just visually, and even for each of the main paths. Also, there's a lot of variety, and I'm really hopeful for what Dawn Trail looks like, and just kind of expanding that and having more unique dungeons. I do think, though, whoever designed the Criterion bosses for Aloe Aloe, especially the second one, made it explicitly mechanics that my brain really struggles to wrap around. I did clear Criterion, but not enough to see a mount drop from it before stopping, so that'll be something to clear up in Dawn Trail, but I'm not necessarily looking forward to doing those bosses in, because I probably got so many migraines trying to do those, but yeah, the pixie mount that you get, that's one of the bosses from Aloe Aloe that you get for just doing all the 12 paths for variant. It's really cool. It's just it's a nice one. I like the trend of taking one of the bosses from the variant dungeon and bringing it in as a mount for completing it. It just is a nice little reminder. I really like the silky mount from the first one. Actually, I guess the second one didn't do that. I didn't just thought about that. The paper lantern isn't one of the bosses. Weird. I wonder why they changed it to that. Either way, but yeah, I'm excited to see what they do in Dawn Trail with this. So while I'm showing progress in the background for milestones, I'm just going to talk about how I feel about hunts in general. It's hard to judge how much time it takes for getting each of these hunt mounts we have left, since all 3 are extremely rare and effort intensive. Each of them has 2 requirements, which the first is killing a certain amount of A ranks, which are really fairly common and usually killed in sets of 12 in kind of hunt trains. And then S ranks, which are exceedingly less common, with like multi-day cooldowns and are only ever killed like sporadically once at a time. And usually you have like 5 to 8 minutes at least on EU to get there to get credit for it, which includes, if you're not already on the world that it's on, hopping worlds, teleporting to where it's at, joining a group in Party Finder, flying to it, and then getting your own hit for credit before it dies, which you have to do 2,000 times. And if someone pulls it early, or you're late to noticing that it spawned in, then you're kind of screwed. There's probably only 2 other mount grinds that are anywhere close to this purely on time you're required to do, meaning, you can't just buy it. One is the Pteranodon in the Firmament, which we've already done. That took a lot of gathering and crafting. I forget the exact amount of hours, but I know it was at least triple digits. The second is the one we'll be talking about after this in the next section, and the last mount we're going to talk about before we get back to the Omega Protocol. So feel free to guess what that one is. But these mounts are all active effort. When you want to do stuff with it, you can just queue in and you can go for it. Hunts are this weird, passive sort of thing. You're rewarded, honestly, for being unhealthy. For being around your PC all the time, enough where if a given 5-minute window hits, you're most likely going to be around to go there. I wouldn't recommend doing it. I'm honestly not looking forward to having to do it in Dawn Trail 2, because it's just not... It's not the reset days where S ranks are popping off a whole bunch and you teleport around everywhere. Just does not feel great. despite prefacing all that, I do not come to you today without some mounts. So at the start of November 2023, I finished off grinding the Victor mount, which was, and still is, at the time of posting this, the rarest mount in the game, with just a bit over 0.5% of players having it. The requirement for this is 1,000 S ranks and 2,000 A ranks, only from endwalker area, so it's only been possible to do this expansion, which is part of the rarity. Or, well, not a large part, but a decent part. It's definitely not like, you know, one of the like luxury mounts where it's like opulent, crazy looking, and there's like effects coming off of it. But Victor is, by the lore, a perennial dog show champion. And it's one of those things where anytime I see someone riding around on it, it's some of the Pteranodon where I know, like, we lock eyes and it's like, we both suffered for this thing that we got. So it's kind of funny to see because of that. And funny enough, a day after that, I also got the Centurio Tiger, which is 3,000 A ranks and 2,000 S ranks in any area. This one has a similarly cute backstory where there was a veteran hunter that took a tiger cub from a slain S rank and cared for it, and by the time they were discovered by the rest of the hunters, nobody wanted to like kill the tiger or get rid of it, so instead they kept it as a pet. I don't know why they gave all the hunt mounts like cute or silly backstories, but it's fun. I like it. I have been really enjoying just like looking through stuff and like seeing the little bits of lore they put into the descriptions for these. The last hunt mount is very enigmatic of like how burnt out I got from the game. I had completed the S ranks for Shadowbringer since November, leaving the much shorter grind of doing the A ranks for the Triceratops. But it took until April 2024, so almost half a year, for me to start knocking out that remaining 700 or so A ranks that were missing. I've since felt like much more excited to do the game again and much more interested, as you can tell from me making videos about it. But I just want to like say here, especially with all the stuff I was like saying about doing hunts before, it's really important to take breaks from this game and not like get FOMO'd into continuing with it and doing things. I can think about how it was possible to get all the mounts this expansion if I'd pushed for it, but I would have quit the game if I'd done that. I never would have wanted to play the game again because I needed a break. So anyways, the Triceratops is, you know, I love all the dino mounts in this game. It's another one with less than a 1% own rate. It's a really cool thing to have earned. And it means thankfully that we have a month or so off from hunting before inevitably Dawn Trail is going to release another hunt mount that I'm going to have to farm for. Yay! Alright, mental roulettes. They were pretty intimidating for me, especially since I don't do a lot of roulette content. Because there's this huge expectation of what you're meant to know. Like, you're guaranteed to see certain extremes fairly consistently, and just on account of the scale of what you have to do, it's massive. For reference, if you want to complete mental roulettes and get the mount within a year, you need to do over 5 of them a day. Which on average is like an hour-long daily commit, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that, I mean, over time, that definitely drains on you to have to do that sort of like, essentially like a daily. If you're not familiar, this is a roulette that cues you into almost all content in the game besides like the really exceptionally hard stuff. So you have no idea what you're queuing into at all. Could be a 30-second long guildhast or a half hour of sitting in Praetorium, or it could be an extreme trial, which are almost never done randomly queuing. They're always essentially done in Party Finder unless you're a free trial player and you can't join Party Finder. And it can take even longer if people are wiping to things and struggling, and you know, it's an experience. The only requirement to be a mentor and do the roulette that I was missing was the 1500 commendations, and the smarter choice would have been, you know, I need to level all my jobs anyways, I should just probably passively get some commendations by leveling and doing roulettes and just all of that. But instead, I spammed Guild House since they're super short, and I was hoping that playing as a healer or a tank would make people be kind to me, I guess. It was boring, but I mean, it worked. It was at least quick, but very grating. But that's just the grind to start the grind. There's no way for me to possibly begin to explain like how much effort it took to do like the mental roulette grind. I did track everything in a spreadsheet, but before I show all of that, enjoy some milestones of the grind and then some very fun clips of things that happened during it.
And there's the first of not many achievements, but that's the first of a long, where is it? There we go. A long list. All right, so I've gotten a couple extreme trials, and neither of them has gone very well. They've all like fallen apart after a few wipes. So fortunately, no clear with those yet. I got Sephiroth, and I got the Nidhogg. Oh, we might win. Let's go run, Queen. Let's go. Woo! Woo! Is he doing something right now? Should I be dodging something? Okay, good. Bye, Queen. Nice job, Mentor. What? It's just so bad. This dungeon's too hard. Make it easier. This fight's fun as Fizz range, because you just spend like half the time just standing in an AoE, and no one can stop you. Oh no! 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 I literally could have run through and saved myself. It's been a... I just noticed they're dance partnering a healer instead of me. I feel offended. We can maybe make it. I just need a tank to get aggro quick before I get clapped. Please, move him. Move him. Well, that's technically a clear. Just in case, I think that's someone else up. That was a pain. Clear's the clear, it's true. Me and Kane are just alternating between rezzing the red maid. It's rough. Yeah, hunts are hard to... Hey, there we go. There's the achievement. Sorry, completely forgot. Oh, YouTuber voice. I did it. Look at this hat. You guys ready? You ready? You ready? It's the joke. Isn't it funny? Sorry. Man just walked straight off the edge. Alright, as long as we don't get like triple zapped, we should be fine. We're slowly getting past the next hurdle. Just stand still. I'm just gonna take the one hit. No! Come on! It's a coordinated effort to murder me. Everyone's in on it. Oh, that was... If they were trying to kill me, that was perfect. Unfortunately, they weren't trying to kill me. Alright, here we go. 300 out of 2,000 mental roulettes done. 3/20ths of the way there. 15%. This is a lot of murder going on. Oh, more than you. Oh, we're down both tanks. Well, I have Swift in 2 seconds. I can get a tank up. Stop it! Stop. Bad. Oh no, please. Please don't do this. What a mess. See, this is like the fun part of Metro Roulette, is just like folks catching on and you just game and you realize that these ARR extremes aren't honestly that bad. Sorry, that black mage is very dead. Alright, 2 wipes for 400 mental roulettes. That's a stackaroo if I've seen one. I'm not laughing at them, I'm laughing with them. It's funny, it's good. I don't know if people are just like... When do I stand on the side? It seemed like he was centering himself. Okay, that's what he's centering himself for. What? I want to try to do like the cool dodge you can do, where instead of dodging correctly, you stand like here. Okay, I'm good at the game now. I've redeemed myself for the donut thing before. We did it! I hope Mentor will notice me 4. Why did you do that? Why did you walk back into it after you dodged it? Why did you do that? 700 on the dot. Oh yeah, that was 900. I am so tired. It's almost midnight and I am such a baby. That's 900. We have hit 1,000 mentor roulettes done. We are officially halfway done with the mentor roulette grind. But we are at exactly 1,100 mentor roulettes done. Sorry, I just watched a little jump off the edge early. So that's a long macro someone just posted in chat. Good lord. There we go, 1,200 mentor roulettes, only 800 left, and we will be done forever with them. Jesus Christ, please. 1,300 mentor roulettes done. Yeah, I'm fine. Totally planned. Just very, very organized. Alright, does someone slide off? Put your boat in now. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. 1,500. 75% of the way done. What is this person's name? I'm actually concerned to check. Is your name a Women Pleaser? 1,600, 80% of the way done. Oh, please don't go in the corner immediately. Please drop them over here. Okay, good. Oh no, run! Oh no, oh god. Okay, we're fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. I'm not worried, I'm not scared. I'm scared. I don't want to be in here. I'm being meleeed. Was I the tank? There was still a tank alive. Why was I tanking? Is this another person named Honey? Oh, you weren't a stack marker. Oh no, you were a stack marker. I just stacked. All our rezzers are dead. Because the only people that wanted the stack marker were the rezzers. Oh no, that's so sad. Sorry, I did Shiva and Eden recently. I don't trust snapshots. Oh, we got achievements. A 2-for-1. Beautiful. Is there anything in the box that I want? Ooh, an orchestration roll. Give me an 8. Never mind. All right. See you later. Anyways, the more important thing. There we go. 900. Woo! Yippee! Hello. I have emptied out my inventory. Well, it was empty a little bit before, but I've sort of emptied out my inventory so that we don't have to stop for turning stuff in for seals. I cleared out all my tombstones. There is nothing stopping us from farming for the next 6 hours except for my own sanity. So let's see how the next 6 hours goes. Just like experiments. Oh, I was not. How did they die but I did? I'm just built different. That's. Okay, what's their name? Is their name what I think it is? Why? You can name yourself literally anything you want. You choose that. I'm gonna heal myself for a second, just to make sure I live. Cool. Oh, don't run away! Come back! There we go. That was a little bit of a scary end to it. He's on the move. He's about to dodge the AoE. All I did was get hit by a knockback I didn't even see. I'm literally gonna AFK my last mental roulette. Please put me in so I can at least be alive. I can pretend I was alive the entire time. There is the samurai! This is the honestly funniest bit possible. Just yeah, we did it! What a fun time. What a fun way to end it. Not what I was expecting. Wait. It needs to say 2,000 on the screen. Wait a second. 2,000 mental roulettes. Give me the Astro. 4th rarest amount in the entire game, and we finally have it after 400 hours of effort on it. Let's pull up some numbers. Let's look at some stuff. Alright. Fun numbers. So, you might notice one of the things is a little bit more of one type than another. You might notice that I got 556 guildhests and 2,000 of these. Literally over a fourth of what I did was guildhests. I didn't think that many people even queued for it. That's really hot. That's really good. Yeah, it's really, really good from like just a perspective of getting it done quickly. Like each of those is at most a minute, so it's really nice. But it's weird to look at that. 75 ARR extremes, 17 Heavensward ones and then 43 Stormblood ones, and like almost every single one of those was Great Hunt Extreme. So this is the top 10 most frequent duties, and Under the Armor is almost 200 times. The same exact one. The same exact guild has 200 times. Because it's the shortest one, so people are like speedrunning through it. That's what they did. How many of these are guild has? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Obviously the 2 expert dungeons right now are like had to do those a ton. But then you have like Praetorium and Castrum, which are all just cutscene simulators. And then Great Hunt Extreme. I still don't know why Great Hunt Extreme is queued so much. I thought I knew, but I don't know anymore. So because of today, Ramu Extreme is the most wipes I've had to any to anything. So, which is wild because how many times did I queue into it? Let me see. I did it 9 times and I wiped almost 50 times to it, or the group wiped 50 times to it. Great Hunt Extreme. I mean, it's just all extremes. It's just every single one of them's extremes.
So I totally forgot, and this doesn't really fit anywhere else, so I got the Parade Chocobo, which is for 3,000 commendations. Has nothing to do with Mentorlets, but the primary reason I have so many commendations was from Mentorlet, so kind of earned it through this. I just love it as a mount. It's just so silly, the like lead that you have in front of it to bait it into flying around or moving around with the like different food for motivation is it's just such a funny idea. It's great. I mean, they've made like multiple reskins of this one, one of which I have, but it's a good mount, but I wasn't sure where else to put it, so here it is. How do I even like start with the Omega Protocol? It's so many things and so much of a weird experience. I've tried explaining it to people that don't do raiding or don't do speedrunning. They don't, focus a lot of time on gaming or like really challenging stuff like this. And it's really hard to like get across like what we signed up for, what we have put ourselves into, the amount of effort we've gotten through, all the stuff we've had to learn. It's really hard to like tell that to them and like explain it in a way that just is like, what's the point? And I think there were points with rating this that I was asking myself kind of what the point is as well, and getting really demotivated, and I talked about that a little bit earlier. But really, I think the main thing that kept drawing me back is like the similar reason to like why I did speedrunning, because I've been speedrunning since 2016, and there's overlap between raiders and speedrunners. People joke about this being like raiding being like a speedrunner retirement home sort of thing, which is its own thing, but I think it's got that same urge to like optimize and learn more and find strats and perfect and eventually get to a point where you're doing that one perfect run where everything comes together and all that effort is showcased and condensed into this 19 minutes. And I think that was like the really incredible thing with completing this ultimate, is having that slow realization over the span of 18, 19 minutes of like, okay, next hurdle we got through, and realizing this is like the finale of all the effort we've put through, and having, friends there and everyone being supportive and just having it all to come together after spending, I forget how many hours we spent raiding, but I think we raided for twice as long as we normally would. So it was kind of an all or nothing thing where if we didn't clear it today, we were just not going to raid for like a couple days. So it was really incredible to just kind of everyone be on the same page for that one run. So I think there's only one proper way to end things off here and send us on our way to future journeys in Dawn Trail. But I do want to thank everyone that's been a part of this first leg of this adventure. Thank you to everyone I've raided with for your kindness and patience and dedication. I know I have trouble verbalizing that. Everyone that's followed along and your encouragement, that means the world to me more than you know. The comments that I've received when I've taken a break from the series and people leaving nice little comments about how they're doing their own completionist grinds and they love watching along with this as background noise, that means so much more than you think it does. And everyone that's contributed to this series in big or small ways and made it possible, you have made these videos better for being there, and I appreciate that. And I know this is like a small, like little obscure series, but it means a lot to me to share it with all of you, so thank you. So let's say goodbye to Omega and hello to whatever wonderful, scary, exciting things await us in July.
Yeah.
This
It's
is it.
dead. It's fucking
Let's
dead.
fucking
Yes!
You guys are awesome.
Oh my god, that is. Oh,
We fucking destroyed it that time.
we did! Fucking hell!
Yeah, we can know.